Okay, we are here with Darren and Dustin from 2020 Accounting. They are here to talk to us about what they do, which is accounting for medical practices, specifically with a focus on podiatry. So let's just start by telling me a little bit about who you guys are and how did you get into this business in the first place? What's your story?
Sure. So I think started off with I was working for a medical software company, and we had podiatrists as clients, and those we brought them on as an accounting client. And so a year or two later, our company ended up selling, and we ended up getting a notice. Say the client got a notice and we got a notice.
Okay.
And so my dad's always told me through adversity comes opportunity.
Sure.
And this was one of those times when you had to look for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And so had a lot of help from a lot of great people, but that's how 2020 was started with that one client. It happened to be a group of podiatrists, which that focused our core focus on podiatry.
Yeah, that's great. And so, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to mention, because we kind of started separately and came together.
Yeah, how did that happen?
And so, my entire career leading up before we did this, I really wanted to work with small businesses, but I found myself working with larger companies doing more audits, and not a lot of fun in that.
Yeah.
So I decided to jump out and kind of hang myself on shingle, so you'd say, and start marketing my services. And at the same time, Darren was going through his transition, and we ended up referring a lot of work back and forth. I would send him clients, he'd send me clients, and we'd sit down at the end of the month and settle up on who did what for who. And eventually we just kind of realized, like, no, we're both doing this. We're both good at it. Let's go in and do it together. And once we joined forces and started heading that way together, that's when everything took off. So,
the dream team was formed.
That's right.
That's so fun. That's amazing.
100%.
Well, tell me, so when it comes to accounting for a business owner in general, do you feel that they value that service enough, or do you think there's a lack there?
I definitely don't think that business owners, physicians, anybody really, as they're starting out, really understand the power in accounting.
They think they can do it themselves,
They think they can do it themselves. Yeah. They're looking at the cost, the really relatively low cost, and not really putting the value on what good decision making can do. What a well functioning accounting and finance function will do for you is allow you to make the right decisions. And when you're talking about a business that's $500,000, $1 million size business, the decisions you make are $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 decisions.
Right.
And if you can make one better decision a year, think about how far you can go over the course of time. Yes.
So if they treat it as an afterthought, I mean, what's your opinion? What happens then?
Well, they treat it as an afterthought, and it just minimizes the opportunity that they have to plan.
Yeah.
And if you just bebop through business without a plan, you're going to end up working too much for too little money. And it's just a recipe for being overworked and underpaid.
Yeah.
And so we allow, we help build that plan and then, set those goals and then help them reach those goals.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, the non-measurable that I think comes with that is just the continuous stress that comes with not really understanding your business. Yeah. Every night going to bed and not knowing if your efforts that day got you where you're wanting to go or even has you pointed in the right direction.
I feel like my chest is getting tight just thinking about it. Like what you're saying, going to bed, not knowing where you are, not knowing what tomorrow looks like, not knowing what a month from now looks like. That's stressful.
Yeah.
That's really stressful. So how are you helping your clients make sense of all this? If they come to you and they want to work with you, and they probably have some sort of accounting system, it's maybe not great. What are you doing to help them make sense of all this and to know where they are?
Sure. So, you start off with the basic blocking and tackling, which is the general accounting, putting the debits and the credits in the right places.
Yeah.
That's the foundation that everything else is built on. So then you look at the CFO advisory services, and that's where we add a a windshield to your car versus driving with a rear view mirror. So we're able to look at KPIs. We're able to do benchmarking, compare you with another company that's similar size. We're able to hone in on those targets to see what knobs we need to turn in that business.
Yeah.
Create a budget for you. And the budget is something that's really beneficial to see, okay, are you meeting your goals? But it's not everything. You need to also have a forecast. A forecast is where you can see, okay, if I do this, then what's going to happen?
Yeah.
So truly understanding the impact of decisions that you make.
Yeah.
Then after that, you bolt on tax planning. Tax planning is extremely important.
Yeah.
Dustin, I'd like to kick it to you to talk a little bit more about the tax planning and how that works.
Yeah, I mean, I think piggybacking off of what Darren said, I think one thing that people will find when they come to us is that we have a plan. And, it's so important to go into anything with a plan.
Yeah.
We start off the year with clarity, looking at what's happened the previous year, what went well, what didn't, what may need to be worked on throughout the rest of the year. Then as we move into the summer lull, that's a great time to sit down and really start doing some planning, as Darren said. That planning may start with just like, let's see where you're going. Let's see what your tax liability may look like at the end of the year. But then you want to go a little bit further than that. Like, okay, how can we change that answer? Yeah. How can we bring that, if we don't like that, well, how can we bring that tax liability down? And there's lots of tools, in the tool chest that can do that. But almost every single one of them, takes forethought. Like you can't do it at the end of the year. We need time to plan and work that out. Yeah. So then as you move towards the end of the year, hopefully we have a direction both from our finance and operations, but also our tax strategy. But as you're going into the end of the year, we always like to say, hey, I want you to go into the holiday season knowing what your tax liability is going to be.
What a great feeling.
Yeah. That way you can plan. You can plan, those holiday gift giving and everything, the vacations, whatever you're trying to do. And, then come tax time the next year, then, it's not a surprise. You're just landing the plane. Yeah. And that's what, when you have that rhythm, that's what gives people that feeling of not being stressed all the time.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of peace. It just sounds like a lot of taking this burden off of people's shoulders. The business owner or practice owner is carrying a lot, right? I mean, what is their demeanor when they come to you? Are they typically stressed? How are they feeling when they come to you?
Absolutely. I think they're certainly stressed. Not having a plan will create that. I was reading a book the other day, The Operator, about the Navy SEAL who shot Osama bin Laden. And he was talking about going into his missions and how stress is something that it's on you. You can decide something stressful. But they go into missions by being prepared. And I'm not saying we're Navy SEALs, and those guys are absolutely amazing. Yeah. But you do need to replicate. You need to plan ahead of you need to plan for your business and plan for what's gonna happen. And so absolutely.
Even if you're not a Navy SEAL, the tactics still apply, right? That preparation, that mental clarity, knowing where you are and where you're going, right? It still applies to every part of your life, I would think. So that's great. Can you think of an example of a client who saw kind of a major shift, maybe in their mindset or just how they felt about their business because of working with you? You probably got lots, but is there one that sticks out?
Sure. I've got one that purchased a practice, and I came in after the purchase. They probably overpaid for it a little bit. He was working quite a bit and not really getting what he wanted to out of it. So we came in, we helped him create a plan, helped him set goals that were really non-financial, but they impacted the financials. And so now he's sitting back working probably about 20 hours a week. He's got a second office, got 2 other podiatrists working with him. I'd say he has a pretty good life. He's got things are going well.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing, we helped him out for quite a while, and then the most recent iteration was adding the cash flow forecast.
Okay.
That for him has been truly game changing. So yeah, I think he would say that he's enjoying the other parts of his life more because of working with us.
That's great. Cash flow forecasts. Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. So, you look at a budget, and the budget's going to be based off your profit, right? Well, the end result of the budget is going to be your profit. Cash flow forecasting is doing kind of the same thing, but for your cash.
Okay.
And so, not every business, or I don't know of a business that's the exact same every single month.
Yeah.
It would sure be a lot easier if it was.
Yeah.
But you have months that you have more cash outlays than others. You have months that cash is going to come in stronger than others. Particularly with podiatry, you certainly see that. And so the first few months of the year, you've got co-pays and deductibles. Then say the last few months of the year, you may be working less, but there could be more surgeries, more procedures because everybody's trying to get those in before the end of the year.
Right.
And so you need to account for all that. When does your medical malpractice insurance come up? What about, this, that, and the other? So if you budget for those or do a forecast for them, you know when they're coming up. 6 months ahead of time before you have a shortfall.
Yeah.
And you can sleep well at night.
You can prepare.
Yeah, I mean, so many people, especially when a business starts out, they do what I call bank balance accounting. Basically, they look at their bank, and if there's money in it, they can spend it.
Great.
and let me tell you, they do. And then next thing you know, that unforeseen, quote unquote, unforeseen expense comes up.
Yeah.
Many times they could have been foreseen. Maybe it's the tax liability that definitely they could have
forgotten that it's going to come back.
And
up.
then there's no cash in the bank.
Yeah.
Well, with some planning, some forethought, some sitting down ahead of time and making a plan, that money's going to be there because you planned for it.
Because you know it's coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's so important. Like as a business matures, like that bank balance accounting works perfectly fine. Maybe those first few months as you're getting started, but as you mature and you turn into a real business, that's not how you're supposed to operate.
Yeah. Just a recipe for surprise expenses that didn't have to be a surprise.
Right.
So if you were going to define clarity in financials, what does that mean to you? And then what have you seen that it means to your clients?
Knowing what the numbers are telling you.
Because they tell a story, don't they?
They tell a story. And so many clients deal with accountants that will give them their P&L and their balance sheet. And that's as far as it goes.
Right.
And, so okay, you made $1 million. Is that good or bad? It needs some context.
Yeah.
If you thought you were going to make $2 million, then no. If you thought you were going to make $100,000, then yes. If if your gross margins are a certain percentage, is that good or bad? Well, we need to look at the industry and see how everybody else, in similar businesses are acting. You need context to that. Once you start getting context to the numbers and understanding your numbers, then you can start seeing where maybe there are problems. Maybe there's outlying issues, and then you can start attacking those. And having that kind of clarity on what you need to be doing to take another step is how you end up making those small incremental decisions that add up over the course of time.
Very Atomic Habits kind of thing.
Yes.
That's great. So what is one small change? Speaking of Atomic Habits, what is one small change that a business owner could make in how they view accounting that could maybe pay off pretty big for them?
Not see accounting as a cost center.
Okay.
It is a income, a cash flow, success center. So many people see many of their other vendors as easy money to spend, say marketing or other, because they see a return on that.
Yeah.
They need to see that there is a return on appropriate accounting finance,
right?
On an appropriate accounting and finance function as well.
Yeah. How would you convince someone who's skeptical of that? What would you say to them?
I would say look at the opportunity cost. You know, how many bad decisions have you made that, you wish you would have done that a little bit differently.
Yeah.
You know, we all need to be coached in a way. We all need to get, whether it be reading books. You know, you've got to set goals and, you know, make changes to your business to meet those goals. And if you don't know where you are now, then how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's a combination. You've got to know your numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers have to be good to start with, and then you have to know which knobs to turn to be able to get the most out of your business.
And it's hard to know that when you're trying to run the business.
Right.
And you don't. I would imagine most business owners and practice owners don't have time to sit and go through the financials to the degree that you guys are going to do that.
100%. Most podiatrists, most business owners start off doing business because they like what they're doing. Right. You know, you're a doctor and you love seeing patients, love taking care of people. But then you've got to do this thing called business to be able to be able to do it. You know, if you're lucky, you've got a good office manager who's helping some of that along, helping move the paperwork. That's absolutely essential. But it's not that high-level advisor that's actually going to be moving the needle.
Yeah.
And that's where we can come in. We can actually help you move the needle.
Yeah.
To impact not only the profitability, which is extremely important, but also looking at, hey, what's going to save you time? What's going to get you home with your kids at night? The important things.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, you asked how I would convince a client that they need this. I would say look at what the big boys do.
Yeah.
So whenever a private equity company comes in my experience, and buys a company, one of the very first thing they do is install a very robust accounting and finance function so that they can appropriately monitor that company and can make the right decisions. And if that works for those larger companies, why would that not work for smaller podiatrists and physicians and other small businesses?
Yeah. These big companies are making it their top priority.
It clearly
they
pays off
probably
dividends.
know something,
right? Know something you don't.
They've learned something about this to build to that level.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so we've been talking with Darren and Dustin McNutt from 2020 Accounting, just about why accounting is a very strategic solution you can put in place for your business. It should be a top priority, not just a line item that you grudgingly accept, because it can actually make a huge difference in your business and in the future of your business and in your life outside of the business. If you are interested in working with them, which I think you should be, their website is 2020acct.com, 2020acct.com. Go check them out, get in touch with them, and see if you can change your life through the power of accounting for medical practices. Thanks for being here with us.